stopping by. This is going to be a new segment to my channel called Recommended Reads. And the reason why I decided to make this specific video was because I saw another booktuber make a video about apocalyptic books. I really didn't think they were too appropriate of a list or that great of a list because they were mostly books I had never heard of. I think some of them were very new or by independent authors. So I was like, hey, I love reading this type of fiction, and I've read a lot of great ones. And I thought, what better way for me to spotlight a couple of these awesome books that I think are going to be classics in the future. And one of the reasons why I'm so fixated on apocalyptic fiction is because having grown up in the Cold War, we were constantly bombarded by the news and by the media that, threatened to say we were almost on the brink of nuclear war all the time, with films like The Day After and Red Dawn, etc. So these are 4 books I want to recommend to you guys that I think you should read if you want to read about apocalyptic scenarios, and they're in no particular order. And one thing I also want to mention is no one is paying me or sponsoring me to mention these books. First up, we have The Postman by David Brin. This is a book that was written back in the 70s or 80s, and it has also been made into a major motion picture starring Kevin Costner. This story takes place after a major cataclysmic war in North America. Everything is just broken down. There's like rival nations, like tribes of people that are trying to take over areas of the country. And this lone survivor comes across a dead postal worker in the winter and decides to take his coat and wear it because he's really cold, and he's like, well, I'm going to put it to good use. So when he goes to towns to trade for food and supplies, people assume that he's a United States postal worker, which kind of renews the hope that the U.S. government is still around and circulating mail. So then all of a sudden he goes with the lie that he is really working for the U.S. government, and he takes people's mail and delivers it to other cities and towns, and then it sparks new hope. This was a really, really good book. I think I rated it 4, maybe 5 stars on Goodreads. It's been a while since I read it. I think I read it way back in college. But it is a great book. Another apocalyptic scenario book I'd like to mention is The Road by Cormac McCarthy. This is another book that has been made into a feature film and starring Viggo Mortensen. And it takes place, they never really explain what causes the apocalyptic scenario in The Road, but there's a lot of clues and hints to suggest that it was a nuclear war. Father and son are searching continuously on the road for paradise, which I'm assuming is in South America because they're always heading south. This is a very gruesome, somewhat gory, and dark exploration into how far mankind will go to survive. So I'm warning you, it is not for those who cannot take extreme situations. The next book I want to mention is Stephen King's The Stand. If you have not read this epic book about the end of the world caused by a super flu, then where have you been? Not only is it an epic apocalyptic book, but it is quite thick. It is one of those books that is kind of a little like, you might be scared to read it because it is such a thick volume, but I think I read this when I was like 14 or 15, and if I could do that, then anyone could read this. It is a must-read, whether you're a Stephen King fan or just a fan of apocalyptic fiction. Last but not least, A Boy and His Dog by Harlan Ellison. This book is about another post-apocalyptic nuclear war has gone on, and this boy and his telepathic dog. Yes, his dog speaks to him telepathically. They work together to survive in the apocalyptic wasteland that is America after the nuclear war. This one book may be hard to find, as I think it's out of print and it is an older book, but I managed to find a copy back when I was in college at my college library, so maybe you might want to look in someplace like that if you cannot find it. Yes, there are other apocalyptic books and graphic novels out there. I might want to give an honorable mention to Y the Last Man series, because it is a different type of apocalyptic scenario where all of the creatures with the Y chromosome have been wiped out. I have I've talked about it many times on my channel, so feel free to browse my other videos for that. But yeah, so I hope you guys got something out of these recommendations. I hope you will check out these books. And I did do the covers, like images, because I don't own these books anymore. Some of them I used to own, and some of them I just borrowed from libraries. But I don't know how often I'm going to upload a recommended reads video, but I think they would be fun and a cool way to share with you guys some fascinating books that I've read over the years. So, questions, comments down below. Leave your feedback. What did you think? And thanks for watching. Till next time, later, guys.